The roar of 10,000 Filipino fans had filled Sobeys Stadium for an entire week. The flags had waved. The chants of "Let's go Alex" had echoed through the rafters. And Alexandra Eala had delivered victory after victory, turning the Canadian Open into her own personal celebration. But then came Sunday night. In just 73 minutes, it was all over. A stunning 6-4, 6-0 defeat at the hands of Belinda Bencic had brought Eala's remarkable run to a screeching halt. The crowd sat in stunned silence. The dream was over. The 8-match winning streak that had begun with a historic title in Washington had been snapped. And then, she broke her silence. What Alexandra Eala revealed about what really went wrong would leave the tennis world stunned. It wasn't just about the loss. It was about the exhaustion, the injury, and the emotional toll of a journey that had pushed her to her absolute limit. This is the heartbreaking truth behind Eala's devastating defeat, and the inspiring message she shared with the world. It had been a week of magic. From the moment Alexandra Eala arrived in Toronto, she had transformed the Canadian Open into something far bigger than a tennis tournament. She had created a movement, a celebration of Filipino pride that had filled Sobeys Stadium to capacity and left the tennis world in awe. But on Sunday night, the music stopped. Belinda Bencic, the 29-year-old Swiss veteran and Tokyo Olympic gold medalist, delivered a performance that was simply too much for the exhausted Filipina. The final scoreline was brutal, 6-4, 6-0. A second-set bagel that ended Eala's 8-match winning streak and sent her crashing out of the tournament in the round of 16. The statistics told the story of a player who had simply run out of gas. Bencic dominated the key numbers, winning 61.3% of the total points in the 73-minute contest. Eala won only 46.4% of her first serve points compared to Bencic's 72.4%. The Swiss star converted 3 of 6 breakpoint chances while Eala could only manage 2 breaks from 4 opportunities in the opening set. But the numbers could not capture the full story. They could not capture the exhaustion that had accumulated over 2 weeks of grueling tennis. They could not capture the ankle that had been rolled just days earlier. They could not capture the emotional weight of carrying the hopes of an entire nation. For the Filipino fans who had packed the stadium, the defeat was a gut punch. The flags that had waved so proudly now hung limp. The chants that had echoed so loudly now fell silent. The dream was over. The truth about what really went wrong for Alexandra Eala was not a secret. It was written on her face as she walked off the court. It was visible in her heavy steps and her tired eyes. Eala had arrived in Toronto on the back of the most grueling schedule of her career. Just 1 week earlier, she had made history in Washington, becoming the first Filipino to win a WTA Tour-level singles title. The victory had required her to defeat a gauntlet of champions, including Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina Svitolina, four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka, and world number 3 Jessica Pegula. After the final, she had barely paused to celebrate before flying north to Toronto. "It's been an amazing 24 hours for me," she had said upon arrival. Of course, so many emotions, so many things to process, and processing the transition from one tournament to another. The physical toll had been immense. She had played 8 consecutive matches in singles and doubles over the past 2 weeks. Her body was screaming for rest. But there was no time to rest. Not when there were more matches to play, more fans to inspire, more history to make. The exhaustion had been compounded by an ankle injury suffered during her third-round match against Caty McNally. Eala had rolled her right ankle while hitting a forehand in the second set, forcing her to call for a medical timeout. The physiotherapist had bandaged her ankle, and Eala had continued to fight. She had battled through 2 hours and 39 minutes of tennis to secure a 6-3, 5-7, 6-4 victory. "I kind of rolled my ankle in that second set. I hit the forehand and I landed kind of wrong," Eala had admitted afterward. Luckily, there's nothing wrong with it, and there were no serious problems. But the injury, even if minor, had taken its toll. And against a player of Bencic's caliber, any weakness would be exploited. After the match, Alexandra Eala did not make excuses. She did not blame the injury. She did not blame the schedule. She simply told the truth about what had happened. "Tough one today," Eala said, her voice carrying the weight of the moment. "I think Belinda put me in some really tough situations. I think she played really well. Wasn't able to kind of get myself out, and, out of a certain mood. The admission was honest and raw. Eala had been unable to find her rhythm, unable to find the energy that had carried her through 8 consecutive victories. She played really well, and she definitely didn't allow me to find my groove, she added. But it was what Eala said next that revealed the true depth of her struggle. I think Belinda put me in some really tough situations, she said. I think she played really well. I wasn't able to kind of get myself out, and out of a certain mood. The physical exhaustion had taken a mental toll as well. The fatigue from consecutive matches had caught up with her. The Eala mania that had carried her through the week had turned into a weight that she could no longer carry. The crowd that had lifted her in previous matches could not lift her on this night. The turning point had come in the opening set. Eala had managed to break Bencic twice to stay level at 4-4. But then came a moment that changed everything. At 4-4, with Eala serving, Bencic executed a perfect lob over the charging Filipina to secure a crucial break. Eala had missed an open court, hitting her forehand back toward Bencic instead of the empty space. The opportunity was gone, and so was the momentum. Bencic went on to win the first set 6-4. The second set was a brutal reality check. Eala's movement was less sharp. Her shots were less precise, and Bencic pounced on every opportunity. The bagel was the exclamation point on a match that had been over long before the final point was played. Despite the devastating loss, Alexandra Eala refused to let the defeat define her Toronto experience. In her post-match press conference, she chose to focus on gratitude rather than disappointment. It's always tough, of course, after a loss, Eala said. But like I said, I'm looking back at these past maybe 2 weeks as a really big positive. I think I've played really well. I've gotten through so many obstacles. She spoke with pride about her journey to Toronto, the Washington title, the sold-out crowds, the incredible support of the Filipino community. The atmosphere this whole week has been just incredible, she said. It's hard to describe to other people the feeling of being in that stadium full of course, the fans and all the love. Eala also shared her gratitude for her health. Despite the ankle scare and the physical exhaustion, she had come through 2 weeks of competition without serious injury. I'm healthy, which is something I'm super grateful for, something that's obviously on the top of my priority all the time, she said. So, yeah, I'm counting my blessings. She revealed that she planned to take a short break before the Cincinnati Open. I definitely will take maybe 2 days off, a day or 2, she said. She jokingly added that a haircut and a manicure were among her immediate priorities. I need to get a haircut. I haven't gotten a haircut in a while. My nails are grown out. So, yeah, I'll do a couple things just to get my mind off tennis. The loss had been painful, but Eala was already looking ahead. I'm taking the lessons that I have from these 2 weeks and hopefully implementing them even more and in a better way in Cincinnati and New York, she said. Alexandra Eala's defeat in Toronto was not the end of her story. It was a chapter, a painful chapter, but one that would ultimately make her stronger. Eala's 8-match winning streak had captured the imagination of the tennis world. She had beaten Grand Slam champions. She had won her first WTA title. She had climbed to a career-high ranking of world number 20. And she had created a connection between tennis and the Filipino community that is difficult to manufacture. She's not just a crowd draw, former pro Sam Querrey had noted. She's playing well right now, too. This is like if she wins a slam. It would be like one of the biggest things in the world. The defeat to Bencic had exposed the physical limitations that Eala still needs to address. The exhaustion from her grueling schedule had been her undoing. But it was also a lesson. A lesson about the importance of recovery. A lesson about the need to manage her physical and emotional energy. Eala's coach, Joan Bosch, had been with her every step of the way. She credited him for giving her the support and confidence she needs as she continues to develop. I think he plays a big part in my development as a player, and I trust him a lot, she said. I think it's really important to have someone who backs you and believes in you. As Eala left Toronto, she carried with her the love of a nation. Her farewell to the Filipino fans was a powerful message of gratitude and determination. Maraming salamat mga kababayan sa lahing ginawa niyo para sa akin ngayong linggo dito sa Toronto, sa Washington, she said in Tagalog. At sa lahing ginagawa niyo para sa akin. Palagi kayong sumasuporta, palagi kayong nagdadasal, Palagi kaong nagpupyat kaya tuloy akong magdatrabaho. Salamat. The message was clear. Eala would be back. Stronger. Better. More determined than ever.